Hi, and thanks for logging on to the Daily DVAR Halacha. And here's a brand new halacha for you, and it's for Wednesday, 18th day of July, 6th day of Av. We're getting very close to Tisha B'Av, and here's some more laws that you'll need to know. Anointing any oils or creams on your skin is prohibited on the day of Tisha B'Av. So that means you cannot put oil on your skin, or soap, or alcohol, or hair tonic or creams or any ointments or perfumes of any sort should not be smeared onto your skin on the day of Tisha B'Av. You know, the day of Tisha B'Av this year is on Shabbos, the 9th of Av, but all of everything that I'm talking about here is going to be about the 10th of Av when we're observing the fast, which is Sunday. If you need to put creams or medicines on your skin for medical reasons, then even if there's no danger, it could be permissible. So speak to your rabbi about what it is that you need to apply to your skin. It's likely that it's going to be permissible if it's for medical reasons. The only anointing that isn't allowed is the anointment of things for pleasure, enjoyment, for making you feel better. But medicine it's in its own category. That's for healing, and that would be allowed. If you want to wear deodorant to remove bad odor, then that is allowed. Okay, now on to the topic of husbands and wives do not sleep together on Tisha B'Av, and as a stringency, they don't even touch each other on the day of Tisha B'Av. Leather shoes are not allowed on Tisha B'Av, and all other shoes, like the ones made of cloth, like sneakers, wood, rubber, plastic, they're allowed. If they have any part of leather in them, then that's not allowed. But if there's no leather in the shoe at all, then it's totally allowed to wear that. If you have a shoe made out of a certain kind of material that's covered with leather, that's also not allowed on the day of Tisha B'Av. If there's nothing available for you and the only thing you have is a leather shoe, then you should walk barefoot. But if you have no other shoe available to you and you need to walk barefoot, and it would be a long distance over pebbles or something, so for that kind of situation, it could be permissible for you to just put on your regular shoes for the distance of that walk. Speak to your rabbi if that situation applies to you. If leather is needed on your shoes for medical reasons, it could be permissible. Speak to your rabbi about that. Okay, now on to Torah study. Regular Torah study is not allowed on the day of Tisha B'Av. Even teaching young children Torah is not allowed on Tisha B'Av. It's a great joy, and we don't allow ourselves that great joy on the day of Tisha B'Av. Here are some examples of some things that you're allowed to learn on Tisha B'Av, and they are all things that have to do with sadness, so they're allowed on Tisha B'Av. The story of Eov, you can learn that right out of Tanakh. You learn Eov, and that's allowed. The parts of Yirmiyah that discuss the destruction, that's allowed on Tisha B'Av. Eicha, of course, you could study Eicha on Tisha B'Av. If you want to learn the third parak, the third chapter of Moed Katan, that's allowed because that discusses the laws of mourning, etc. The most famous Gemara that everybody learns on Tisha B'Av is Gittin, Daf Nun Vav, or 56b. That's all about the destruction, and you can learn that on Tisha B'Av. Also, there's a Gemara in Sanhedrin on Daf Kuf Daled 104. You can learn that on the day of Tisha B'Av because it's about the destruction. Also, Josephus, the historian, he has writings that discuss the destruction of the temple. You can read that on Tisha B'Av. The Yerushalmi, this is for advanced learners. If you find the Yerushalmi at the end of the Masechta of Tanis, so that discusses the destruction. You can read and learn that also on the day of Tisha B'Av. And lastly, any halachas of Tisha B'Av, you can learn that on Tisha B'Av. And if you're preparing the Torah reading to read on the day of Tisha B'Av for the shul, that's allowed on the day of Tisha B'Av also. Thanks for logging on, and log on again tomorrow for more. Bye-bye.